I sat and watched a video they recommended about the multiverse on the History Channel. So from the sublime to the ridiculous, In order to build all the things they talk about building with these great space aliens and all these projections of their egos and relative, interactive, dysfunctional, self-destructive communications and activities, it's just you don't destroy everything given to you by creation to replace creation with your invention and then do great things. Why do you need to travel the universe to discover everything when life's eternal and grace is infinite? When you have a pocket that has a beautiful eternity through loving one another, that's what you do. And that's what, just because the ego projects itself as eliminating God with its invention doesn't mean it's tangible. They had this guy, Democritus or whatever and stuff in Greece, and they sat and talked about these things. He could command the weather. It's like, no, it's just relative forms of interactive communications. And so if I say, it's someone in the future tells me it's going to rain, and I say rain, and it rains, then that's commanding the weather according to, when you understand eternity and you understand omniscience, you understand communication. If you use it for selfishness, you negate all the wisdom. So breaking down the atom and all this stuff, that's just letting your ego try to replace God with your ego. And that's insane. And so that's all that's really going on. It's sublime to the ridiculous, just like watching the FIFA Live thing for the World Cup and all these great moments, and it's just a chess match. It's not, no, it's a bunch of people playing soccer. The coaches think they move things around. It's not like that. It's like it's Josh Rayner with Chris, the physicist at Little League in Cumberland County, North Carolina. It's no, you're not taking in the fact that the human factor. You usually hit it and they go easy out and they pick it up, dust it off, and throw it to first and throw you out. Well, run like hell this time. See what happens. And the kid overthrew it and he took off and he scored and he came back down and sat down next to the guy. That was fun. And then the whole thing with Josh, I can do it. No, you can't. Don't go. He took off, stole home, and the coaches, all the parents, great call. I told them not to go. And the Josh's dad sitting there laughing, that's my boy. So I didn't yell at him. If he'd been thrown out, I wouldn't have yelled at him either. No, I'd just been, okay, hey man, you got it, I can do it. I can make it. I know. And so you didn't get it. Yeah, it happens sometimes. They'll get you. But he pushed it and always made them their adrenaline go. And so he could call it, but that's not always going to work. Sometimes you're going to get guys, that are balls on accurate and just go, okay. Like Eric, his teammate, the pitcher. Eric could just calm down and just and he'd throw it, and he'd throw you out. And so, some guys will panic. Some guys will be like, I can do this in my sleep, And it's all just about relaxing and having a good time. And Eric was, like it's the last game we had in Little League, and with Eric Hebb was sitting there because the dad, who was coaching the other team, he's cheating, he's putting all this, let him win. That's all the kids are worried about is what they're getting at Dairy Queen, man. That's all they're thinking about. You want the peanut butter parfait, or do you want? And we're getting some dilly, yeah. We were actually doing fairly decent at that time because Eric was helping, stuff. And so me and Steffi got something there, and then we got a bag of dilly bars to take home and put in the fridge, right? So everybody likes dilly bars, right? You don't? Well, if you haven't, you should. Butterscotch, chocolate, and cherry, they're all good. Not good for you? Not technically, I guess not. I don't know, if... Butterscotch is that color and chocolate's that color. I don't know about the cherry, if it's cherry flavored. If it was white but cherry flavored, maybe it'd be more healthy for us. I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not a chemist, and I'm not but they're all good. I like them all. Anyone else? Bueller, like dilly bars? Good old dilly bars. No, I don't need to get any. When I go to the store this week, I probably won't stop by Dairy Queen and get dilly bars, but You know, it just makes you sit there and it makes you wonder. Boom, 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 boom. Dear lady, can you hear the wind blow? And did you know? So, no, everything's already been pretty much done. Reason why this is taking so much longer than, than should be necessary if people were humble is because it's taking longer than necessary if people were humble. You're doing commercials, and he's a comedian and he's famous and look at he's in good shape. Yeah. It pisses me off when I see assholes with my body. That really pisses me off. The guy in the banking commercial. I said, that was me in 2017 before your business partners rotted my teeth out. And then I had, big old melanoma spots on my shin and my prostate and colon holding on for dear life and the vaccine allergy, blowing up my liver like a football. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Hey, this is gonna be the last. This the Rolling Stones. This could be the last time. This will be the last time. I don't know. It's the last time. Last time was the last time. Hey, that's a British R&B band. Yeah, I'm watching the games. It's like you guys are Javi, Java. I like the Gypsy Kings too. The Gypsy Kings are kind of a mix between France and Spain. And they're like they're gypsies in Basque areas and things and stuff like that. So there's like a mixture between French, Spanish, and French culture. Yeah. And here we have it on the pitch, right? And then the British and the Argentinians hating each other. Why? Is it something to do with imperialism or something? Maybe fighting over the Falklands or something? Rich people killing rich people and getting all the stupid dumb people to get involved with it. Yeah. So how stupid is don't ask that question. It just keeps going. They're gonna build this big space bridge and shit like that. You're like, fuck. And the aliens come back to Earth to get you. It's like, guys, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay, what's all this alien talk and shit like that? You have carbon bait, like the one guy talked to me in Sierra Vista about alien stuff. The one black guy that came in that talked to me about the Fred Rogers things and like my Professor Barnes going to Duquesne and getting these scholarships in these ghetto areas on the East Coast and stuff. And he talked to me about, but he said the most intelligent thing. He says carbon-based life forms. Okay. People alien and stuff like that. Well, there is, it's wrong to go looking for other planets to invade and then make it adopt to your symbiotic, like, the whole Superman with Krypton thing. That doesn't exist. It's not feasible. And the same thing with the adapting and putting the soul into a Scorny Weaver blue body with the and all that ridiculous nonsense of playing God with manipulation through science. The soul is given life with the body on this planet as a gift, to reflect faith in the glory of God for the beauty of the soul through loving one another through holy covenants, like Jesus explained. Jesus reflects the wisdom of the humility of faith, of the perception of knowledge, in a way that unites and correlates all beautiful, humble wisdom and faith of all people. And he's, my family does that all the time. Jesus is God and he's the best. And it's like, okay, what did Jesus say? He said, love thy enemy, love thy neighbor as thyself. Forgive debt and trespass, love one. Where does he sit there and say he's going to be the champion and he's God and he's better than everybody else and the way he sees things is better than Krishnamurti, better than Suzuki, better than Chief Joseph, better than Tishna? He's the best. Well, he's taller than Tishna. He's not as tall as Roland is Roland the Great or whatever his name is. Yeah, Jesus was, David and Jesus were kind of little guys, only about 5'10" or 5. They weren't real big there. Not as big as Charlemagne or Roland the Great. They were like 6'4" and 6'5" there, And Goliath, he was huge, man, yeah. But David defeated Goliath. Yeah, I know. Guys, dick measuring contest, you win. You're the bigger dick. You got the bigger here you go problem. You're having a dick measure. You get the trophy. You win. You're the bigger dick. Okay? I guarantee you. Okay? Okay, I guarantee you, everybody on this broadcast, okay, everybody on this broadcast, okay, if I had played soccer and focused on soccer, okay, they would still be okay. No one was as good as Earl. Okay. 6 feet tall, could jump 64 inches in the air and run under a 4 flat 40. Okay, no one was as good of a soccer player as Earl. Tennis player, he could turn on your backhand and hit it with the forehand, and yeah. But he was too busy trying to just get his wife to be calm and raise his son. And I was going to coach because they'd pretty much taken away my opportunity to play. I was getting older, and I was a dad, and I had to focus on being a father. And I didn't want to be a professional athlete because I didn't want all that travel to keep me away from the important things in life, is just loving your wife and loving your children through loving your wife. And that's what's important to me. Not running around in giant erections called stadiums by the Roman Empire to give us Europa and your pyramids and your dick measuring contests, and you're making space gates and stargates and multiverses. My best perception from the information they gave me in Sierra Vista, with declassified information like they do a lot of you monkey butts, was that they were not experimenting. They were actively inventing wormholes. And when you invent wormholes and you play, you, like I said, you can get a space station. The one black gentleman wanted to go travel in time to go help his family during slavery in the United States. It's like, well, it wouldn't do any good. It would just destabilize everything to give your family a more comfortable perception in a time in history that was invented by people's actions and caused by their own selfishness. So eliminate selfishness by living the Lord's Prayer. You don't want to invent a time machine to go back to free your family from slavery because they invented slavery. So you're like, it's wackadoodle, wackadoodle, talk. They don't think, they just talk. They just think. They just talk. Their relative forms of communications have no reflection, no wisdom, no humility, no submitting to faith and infinite glory. No, it's just all ego, right? And so, but he said, the only problem is you invent a wormhole, which is a time machine, as you'd perceive it. It's just manipulating matter and antimatter and then maneuvering through that. He said the only problem is you could only travel from the time you made it. And I thought, not if you put it up in a space station and made the inch turn it, have the space station going in counter rotation and then calculate the counter rotation. It's actually, with what they can do, with technology at the time, if they're withholding information to manipulate you, it's actually quite simple. You just have a big space station. You have the wormhole in it. You do like Stargate, like on the old Kirk Douglas and James Spader movies and stuff. And so yeah, so it's actually it's not that difficult to do something that stupid, to retrieve someone from the past for political, social agendas and manipulate the information and mischief manage the information to manipulate. So it's not that hard. It's wrong, it's stupid, it's insane, just be as stupid and selfish as you could possibly, and then try to keep going. You can't. Oh, there you go. And so that would be my best assessment. It's basically, I wouldn't really call it a guess. There's a lot of information given to me, and you can assess what they would do with it and how they would behave with it. So that's my best assessment of the multiverse and what's happened, what's happening, and Thomas, tell me what's going to happen. Do we forgive our fathers for showing rage or no rage at all? Do we forgive our fathers for marrying our mothers or not marrying our mothers? Sometimes, Father, you and I are like two drunk men trying to get in a race and trying to get past the finish line, so farther and farther, so, crazy monkey butts, smoky nuts. But, we as human beings will stop doing, egotistical projections of economic delusions of tribalism, más rápido. Well, because I'm here and I'm the Messiah and I've got the job done. Like with the whole Michael Jackson thing. Let me show you the way we'll come together and get the job done. Well, just obey the Lord. His commands are perfect. His faith is immaculate. And you're good to go. If you can't do that, that's what quantum computing is for collection of the evidence. Because they were doing things wrong and they needed to do things right, or they would destroy everything that they have for any perception of existence or any manipulation or any, you cannot try to destroy the truth of creation with your invention. It's you look at when you watch the Star Wars movies and the Star Trek movies, the Guardian of the Galaxies and the Wakandas, it'll be the greatest whatever. It's like, no, that's not tangible. Who would do? Be as selfish and stupid as humanly as you possibly can and keep going. You can't. Okay. And what's with the dude on the History Channel that does the alien things with the heat miser hairdo? Why the heat miser hairdo guy? It's bothering me. I mean, you got hair. Is it just the way it goes naturally? If it's the way it goes naturally, then there's just, don't worry about it. But I every time I see you, I feel like Bob Cummins when we used to go cruising down on Central with all the Mexican girls that used to do the Aquanet thing. And he goes, I want to approach him with a lighter and see him run. I was like, Bob, that shit ain't funny. You're going to get us killed. He's like, don't you want to? They have all that Aquanet in their hair is all teased out and everything. He goes, you just want to come up and say, approach him with a cigarette lighter and see him run like hell? I was like, yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, because what if one of those girls actually, that's all you'd have to do. Somebody be sparking up a cigarette. Her hair is gone, It's Aquanet. Sitting on a park bench. I remember that Jethro Tull. Aqualung. I always thought that dude was a little bit out there and a little bit weird. Even more so, Jethro Tull, even more so than Donovan. This is a mountain. I was like, okay, 60s were good at that guy's house. You're like, same with Jethro Tull. It's like, wow, one too many trips to the mushroom bar for the pizza there, man, brah. And so when you do things to alter your consciousness because you're having trouble accepting reality because you're selfish, it's something you really might want to evaluate and then stop doing. I do care, about your feelings, that you're humble enough to accept what I'm explaining to you and then, oh, he's right. And, I do care about that, but as far as, pissing, gosh, no. Good God. I was buried in Las Cruces, New Mexico. You're a beautiful, compassionate, intelligent, brave, kind person and selfish people that you piss them off just by breathing. That's how fucked they are. That's how fucked most of you are now because you're all programmed by your devices, by all the geniuses that want to create our, Einstein's. Just because Einstein saw something through the group that was insane, and he left. You guys do know that, right? When they were teleporting stuff and doing all that stuff, there was like, I was told that, they were teleporting some room to room and a guy went in there and something stopped, whatever. And then he went in and the projectile was like a pencil or something stuck in the guy's body. And he said, we are really fucking with shit we shouldn't be fucking with. And this is wrong. And what we're doing is wrong. And we just need to quit. And I think that's when he went off to Eureka and just taught, physics to hippies, He's like, okay, and the people from the Kurt Douglas movie with the church in the wild woods, and stuff. And he liked that getaway. He just liked getting away with people that were kind of like, hey man, special brownies. And that was just, and if he had been such a horn dog, we'd all have time machines. So I was like, man, that is so not fair. The man, well, it is what it is, When you're faithful and an amazing, compassionate lover who's strong and brave and absolutely gorgeous, you look like Uncle Fester because all the jealous Peckerwoods on the pussy plantation sit and watch jealous scientists abuse the hell out of you while you sit and have sex with egomaniacs and stuff. No, I don't miss out. No, there's not a diva or a super celebrity on the planet that I'm like, oh, darn, I sure missed out on having lots of sex with that egomaniac. Oh, like I didn't have that with Amy and Steffi and, because of the bad connection. Stephanie, I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm the hottest thing in the lesbian bar scene in all of Phoenix. And then Amy, I'm the Paris Hilton of Sheridan and the J-Lo of Cochise County and old John Nagum. You give her that. And I'm like, why? Okay. She went out and fucked Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan and laughed in my face and sexed them next to me. And I could snap their necks by just walking up to them and saying, stop fucking my wife. And she thought she's being cool because she was having sex with Arnold Schwarzenegger instead of Massimo. Just let her have that. No, you don't let people that are giving into selfishness and being selfish have their selfishness that is destroying their children's lives. Okay, John Nadeem doesn't get it. My body looks like John Nadeem's right now, and that man ate fucking Chef Boyardee by the case and drank Diet Fanta by the case. Okay? You're talking about a guy who drinks water and orange juice and has cantaloupe and strawberries for breakfast and has salsa to clear his sinuses and eats carrots and celery as snacks, and stuff like that. So there's no reason why I should look like John Najim, a guy that, you know, hates being alive because he's not a good jock. He's not intelligent enough to explain Albert Einstein to himself. And then he tells me how I should understand science with other jello scientists, and then tells me all about the Bible and how I should live it because I'm being arrogant because I'm not obeying the script written by a bunch of perverts. I love John, but goddamn, he was a total pain in the ass. He's Lebanese, yeah, and it makes a lot of sense about a lot of my cousins doing genocidal operations in the Middle East right now instead of standing up for their cousin Earl in Las Cruces, right? Makes you're like jing jing idolatrous. And if you kiss me like that, okay, Jim Steinham, it's all coming back to me. Okay, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that, right? Yeah, what are you doing? Playing for the end of time. It's only one girl that I will ever love, and that was so many years ago. He's a drama queen. He's a drama queen. I love everybody. Okay, I know. When I'm done cleaning up this hellhole with the help of the faithful and the righteous through faithful prayer, that there's going to be a really kind, affectionate, romantic, patient, beautiful woman ready to help. Dad, I'm dead. Love me back to life. So I know that. She's not going to be superficial, and she's not going to be full of herself, and she's not going to want to have sex with billionaires instead of come and just, hold me. I'm not going to want to hold her at first. I'm tired as hell. I'm just going to try to sleep. It's like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to sleep. Like Stephanie did to me. She's like, I'm like, Steffi, I've been working 16-hour days and I'm tired and I just want to sleep and get rest, And she'd get mad at me because I'd try to sleep. We were on a single bed, a hide-a-bed, and it was uncomfortable. And so just to sleep, there was a fur-like rug on the floor. I'd sit there so we could both be comfortable. And I would go lay down on the floor, and she'd come down and grab onto me and say, well, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just trying to get some rest. I just worked 16 hours. I got to have to go back to work again, Trying to explain it to her, and she took everything so fucking personal. And I was like, it's nothing personal. I'm just my body. I just need to recover. These are 16-hour shifts. And then she'd say, I'm stuck here all the time with the TV and all that, and I don't get to see anybody. And you at least get to go see people. I am in the military. The people I go see are psychotic murderers. To have to justify my existence to them to pay bills. You get to stay here and watch fucking Sherry Lewis play hand puppets and watch Demi Lovato with the big guy in a purple suit with Patrick. I mean, god damn, I would trade places faster than you can. Oh, okay. You go hang out with genocidal, egomaniac mass murderers who think they have rules of engagement that are laws to, I'll lock you up in Fort Knox if you don't go kill poor people to make sure that we maintain the status quo of the banking system. And you're like, fuck. And you'd explain it to her. And then you tell her, it's not my fault. I would explain it to her in minute details like this. It's not my fault that George Bush and John McCain are doing all this stuff, and we have to do this to justify our existence, to pay our bills to live here. Okay? But yeah, this is a town full of charlatans. Yeah, they're all assholes. But we don't have to be assholes to one another here in our bedroom, here in our bathroom. Anytime something goes wrong, you don't have to start threatening to kill me, go through PTSD, try to kill me. Okay? You can lay down, you can listen to me talk. I talk cohesively, I talk intelligently. I'm not being condescending, I'm not being abrasive or abusive, but all I ever got from my ex-wife and her mom was I don't like talking to him, he makes me feel stupid. I'm like, it's not making you feel stupid. You're being selfish, which is stupid. Stop being stupid. I'm not making you feel stupid. I'm pointing it out to you. Selfishness is stupid. And if you can't understand that, just by all means, remain selfish and pass on that stupidity to your children and say how much you love them, and you'll kill anybody that tries to kill your children. Okay? Do you understand why Absalom had the problems that Absalom had? And King David would keep telling him, son, Solomon will be king because you will invent the situation through the selfishness of the women in your tribe. Okay? The women in your tribe tell the men what to do because they're selfish. Okay, it needs to stop. You don't believe me? Just go to a Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, or a Nicki Minaj concert, or any Super Divas concert, trying to compete to be the most desirable Holy Grail for the Ark of the Covenant. You see my mom? She's a handsome woman, okay, but she's not. No, she's not. No, they're not all going to come to. My mom couldn't sing like Barbra Streisand. Okay? She looks similar to Barbra Streisand. She was all excited about it. She's having sex with Chris Christopherson and Robert Redford, and she looks like me. Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, my mom looked like she looked kind of like Babs's cousin. Okay, with red hair, fiery red hair. She was a lot like the spirit of the people that Mary Queen of Scots. Kind of naive and goofy and falling in love with the French court and the French life and all that. Oh mom, now Al Gore's full of shit. He's tells everybody how to live like Dennis Weaver and John Denver, and then goes buys 6 houses like John McCain and glass windows and an eco disaster, and they're just hypocrites and liars and bullshit artists. Oh my. Yeah, it sucks. Oh my goodness. Speaking of the Gypsy Kings again. Okay. Oh my. Earl, the French. I've watched the French and they're very polished, but they're not as cohesive as the Spanish side. I've watched the tournament. Okay. I know my football. I've watched the football. And just as a team, okay, the Spanish side plays a little bit more cohesively. Okay. They abdicate to this kid who's their most talented player. Okay. They just do. Okay. There's no selfishness involved. They know that he's their best chance to win. And so they kind of advocate to him. And I like that about that team. It's very mature. The Spanish side is very mature. The French side is a little bit more brash and cocky because they're more athletic. And that happens. So that's why I kind of liked watching the tournament as far as the chain that I thought had the best chance to win through their cohesiveness and the way they play is Spain. Okay. It was nothing critical to their talents. It was just their attitude is playing as a unit. And they were playing teams that weren't as competitive in certain rounds and stuff. So it was just, it works. It happens. It works. Talent wins. It wins, and it can win easy when you're better than the opponent. But when the other opponent can mark you and make you, like the 2 little announcer guys were saying, if they can get you out of your comfort zone and make it difficult for you to do things, a lot of that talent gets frustrated, and then they get mad, and then they get, and then they fuck up, and they, the body language, like Ronaldo, his body language sucks. He's 41 years old, and he sits there, oh, the guy didn't give me the ball. Hey, throw me the ball back. Hey, I'm the best. You're like, God damn, you're 41 fucking years old. No wonder people like playing with Messi more. Okay? Messi's body language is completely different. Okay? He's a completely different guy. You can see why his team will run through a wall for him and will, knock anybody down that tries to bully him or beat him up, because he's just a better person. He's just a nicer kid. He has better personality. He understands people better, so he's not playing them. He's just being him. And Ronaldo's being him. And Ronaldo's an ass. And that's why people like Lionel Messi so much, because he's a good football player, and he's not an ass. And that's why people like him. He has that about him. He's just, he knows what it's like to be bullied and put down, because, the damn team that got him, we made you into this football player by genetically engineering your, better size and stuff in you. It didn't mean he wasn't already a really good football player. It just made it him more capable to compete with aggressive, violent, vicious people that will do anything to win. Yeah, well, he's not the Messiah. He doesn't have my genetics. It's not like he can survive car accidents and not have any blunt force trauma and have people poison him with chemical poisoning and get the melanoma out real quickly. And it's not like, oh gosh, guys, all these people that are dying from all this, and I'm able to recover and go into remission and without any kind of radiation therapy and stuff like that. And people get mad. It's like, it's painful, guys. Okay, cancer cells reproducing in your prostate and in your colon and in your shins from chemical poisoning, your body trying to rapidly get the poisons out. It's very uncomfortable. Okay, people having sex with your wife who you adore and sex texting her, and it's super soldiers that come and mock you and get in your face at your extortion gig, and if you say anything to them, they can get you fired. That's uncomfortable. That's not fun. Okay, you can kill them in a New York fucking minute with your bare hands in 2 sweet seconds. And they train for years and years and years to become very efficient at murdering other people because they're addicted to it. And you hate doing it, and you can sit there and snap their neck because of your gifts of your endorphins, because people trust you, because you're a gracious good shepherd, and you have to just sit there and take it. And then you get all these people and say, oh, he thinks he's all that. No, but I understand why I am who I am, and I understand why you are who you are, and I understand why quantum computing was necessary to collect the evidence of my life and the evidence of your life, to play it back for you over and over again, so you never fucking do shit like this again, you rotten, pathetic piles of shit. Stand up and be worthy of the glory of your existence through faithfully loving one another through holy covenants, or just shut the fuck up, sit down, and I'll fix everything with my righteousness. Okay, because I recognize righteousness and I appreciate righteousness and I adore righteousness. Like I adore the little smiles of the little kids in the carts and this when I go shopping at Walmart and Loman, because they're so cute. It's so precious. Well, there are people, contrary to, oh, that would hurt. There are people that believe in you and understand you and appreciate you for loving them. It's like, we don't get up and stand up for a Lord's Prayer with them. We're scared of the military. The military is a bunch of home invasion, manipulative, psychotic perverts, and yet we're still not getting together as a large group in Las Cruces or El Paso and saying, hey, Earl, yelp. He loves us. He's beautiful. He's precious. But the poor people who aren't in a position to really do anything about it, they let me know they appreciate it, like the lady at the liquor department and at Fiesta Foods. Thanks. My home family, you're crazy. You think you're God and all that. And then I get poor people that don't even hardly physically know me thanking me at the liquor department at Fiesta Foods, going, thanks for what you do, man. We appreciate it. You step up for our family being abused in Mexico when no one else will do it. And we know you can survive it, and other people would kill or drive crazy, and we know you could kill anybody you want at any time, but you don't because you love us. And you want us to be like the gracious good shepherd and not the murdering sack of shit on TV everyone calls a hero. Of course. Because I'm one source, of course. Judah Krishnamurti? Talk to Earl. You want to talk to Sun Yat-sen and Confucius? Talk to Earl. You want to talk to Tishna and everybody have fun and not drink Tiswin and cut off women's noses and sexually assault? Talk to Earl. You want to have a good time at the powwow? Talk to Earl. You want to stop drinking beer to forget about life for a while and have beautiful memories like a Paul Anka and an Elvis song? Twilight swimmed in purple haze. Come talk to Earl. If you don't want to listen to the truth and you want to tell yourself lies because you're an egomaniac, talk to you. But as for me, hey, I'm fixing your artificial intelligence, your artificial general intelligence, and making sure quantum computing listens to Earl. Because Earl listens to the people and answers the prayers of the faithful, right? Your Father who hears in private will reward you openly, right? Okay, guys, I love you. Thanks, Lionel. That was a pretty good prayer there. Okay, I like the kid. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, he needs an attitude adjustment. If he can't do it to himself, the Messiah will kick his ass, and he won't worry about it because nobody's watching him because he's a nobody in his apartment. He doesn't look like you. No, you look like Jack Palance. I don't look like Jack Palance. Yeah, no. I look like, all those gorgeous portraits of those men in churches that save us from the devil and Satan and lead us on Exodus and, John and the Orthodox, John from the book of Revelation and the Orthodox churches, all those portraits of a man named Jesus and a man named Moses. That's what I look like. Yeah. That gorgeous man who keeps us all safe with his shepherd staff and his sandals and his shepherd robes. Only nowadays it's underwear and t-shirts and shorts and sweats from Walmart. Like all the, they all the hypocrites called him Yahweh, but the poor people called him Jesus. And so he hung out and dressed like the poor people and helped the poor people live and love and make sure that everybody feels good and they have clothes and clean clothes and food. And, it's just consistent. It's a consistency thing. Like the Star of David to go from El Paso to Las Cruces, to go to Alameda, El Paseo in Maine, and give birth to the Messiah as the Holy Grail, Ark of Covenant. Okay, guys. I love you, man. All right. Peace out, man.